Good evening. School districts all across San Antonio work constantly to keep guns off of all campuses.
But on Election Day, handguns will be allowed on school campuses for some Texans. Eyewitness News reporter Erica Zucco explains why.
In a time when campaigns are more heated than ever, state leaders want to make sure polling places are not. This letter lays out when, where, and presiding judges who make sure rules are followed at each polling place can be armed.
It depends on whether or not the campus is a public school or a institution of higher education. There are different rules.
The Texas Secretary of State's office sent it to departments and school districts involved in elections after the state attorney general's opinion on the issue in August raised questions.
Asking, well, what does this mean? Does this change anything?
The letter says legally at public schools on government-owned property, judges who are licensed to carry are allowed to have handguns. It recommends they conceal their weapon and says education code bans them from using it to cause alarm or intimidate voters. We asked school districts throughout San Antonio how they're reacting to the letter. Northside ISD says it's, quote, very concerned and will review plans for future election dates. San Antonio ISD says it doesn't expect issues, but, quote, we are disappointed as we do not think anyone should be in schools with a handgun other than highly trained police officers. The Secretary of State's office stresses the allowance is only for one judge in the room, not for other poll workers or voters.
The Attorney General's opinion was based on the law that they reviewed and made sure that their recommendation and opinion was based on the current laws of the state of Texas.
Erica Zucco, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.